It's not contagious.
I'd like to welcome everybody to this committee meeting on Thursday, the 26th of June 2025. Firstly, I'd like to thank the previous chairman of the committee, Sharon Benavicius, for a new committee that we ought to just introduce ourselves. I'll go first. So my name's Sonia Wilcox, I'm the chair of the Employment Committee.
I'm Joe Powell, I'm the Vice Chair, thank you.
I'm Mark Warfield.
Councillor Darren Ennis for the Chasetown Ward in Burntwood.
John Hill for Fazeley.
That's Serena Mears for Highfield.
Councillor Phil Bennion for Meath Valley.
Agenda. So the first is the apologies for absence.
We've received apologies from Councillor Benavicius.
And so is there any declarations of interest?
Okay.
So the previous meeting for those of us that were on that previous committee.
Chair.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and then we'll move on to the item on the agenda, the gender pay gap, which is item number 4. And
Thank you, Chair. Good evening. Before we start on the agenda item, I just want to introduce my two colleagues that are joining us today. Andrea Felton, who is Director of Finance at LWM, which is our wholly owned trading company, and Sharon Sumner, who is our HR Director at LWM as well. As I'm sure you're aware, as a committee, we actually commission HR services and payroll services from LWM, which is why I've brought the HR and payroll experts with me today. And Andrea has done all the parts of preparing tonight's report on the gender pay gap. Obviously, the gender pay gap is a really key metric that allows us to have a view on how we're performing as an organisation in terms of gender pay equality. So if it's okay, Chair, I'm going to hand over to Andrea, who's just going to briefly introduce.
Yeah, so I just start by giving a bit of background into why we need to produce a gender pay gap. So it's a legal responsibility. The Equality Act 2010 requires public sector employers, with 250 the pay gap. You need to do that annually, and it needs to be a snapshot as at the 31st of March 2025. So this covers that period. So a gender pay gap, so this highlights any difference in the average earning between men and women. It's expressed as a percentage. So the reasons for doing it is that it shows us whether we have any workplace equality. It helps us understand our gender within the workplace, and it assesses whether we're using the talent and skills force as well. So it is a very powerful tool. The gender pay for Lichfield Council as at the 31st of March, a minus figure. What this means is if you pay your men and women within the workforce equally, it would be 0%. If you pay men more, then it will be a positive percentage. If you pay a female more, it will be a negative percentage. So the results for the council are actually negative. It's 0.355. which means that we are paying our females in the workforce a higher salary than males. So the reasons for this, which the paper does go on to explain, is that we have higher earning females within the workforce, and that is pulling that average in favour of females, which is why that is a negative percentage. Within the gender pay gap report, you need to show agreed methodology, so you need to show your averages. But what we have done within this report is gone a little bit further. We've shown more details about that work. I think it really does tell a good story. don't know, Chair, if you want me to run through the details of the report, or you have all read it and want to ask any questions, or want me to focus on a particular area?
Anybody got any questions or?
The new benefits package that's been brought in for employees, do you think that's had an influence on the figures that you have now? And what type of influence do you think it's had to date? And what influence do you think it'll have going forwards? Because with all things, you try it and then adjust it as you're going forward.
I think we have seen a pattern whereby we have less part-time females. And I think that is because we do have hybrid working. So I think we are seeing a trend for more females working full-time. And a trend for more males working part-time as well.
Okay. And I think another impact that we've seen in terms of that staff benefits package that we've put in is we are seeing a lower turnover. So as many staff leavers. And whilst you can't do quite a direct correlation, make an assumption there that actually to things such as the benefit package and the culture and the ways of working that we support as an organisation, that's keeping staff here. They're not being attracted elsewhere. Thank you.
The Powell was first.
All right.
Yeah, just a quick one. How do we compare nationally?
Nationally, so the national average is a percentage of 7. So the national average is that men are paid 7% more than female. Within councils, the average is 3%. So again, men are paid 3% more than female.
So we're being pretty progressive then. Good.
Yeah. Is that raw data, or is it corrected for any grades of what kind of work is being done? Is it just raw data?
Complete raw data.
Yeah, I presumed it was.
It doesn't include anybody that is employed by the trade, Lichfield Midlands Trading Company.
Yeah.
And it is just anybody that is paid through the council, and it is taken from March payroll.
Okay. Yeah, I presume so.
Yeah, brilliant, thank you. Are there any plans for the council to try and increase the amount of female representation in the lower quartile, the areas where males are dominant? As you've said, that we're on the lower percentage of this, and to equate that, or assume more in that level would more towards the 0 mark, which would be the perfect world. So are there any plans to do so?
We are seeing, so I've included a table within the report comparing the 4 quartiles. So we've taken all of 100% of our employees, split them into quartiles, and compared how many males and how many females we have within that group. And we have seen a trend where the lower quartile, we have more females than last year. I believe there are more females joining our parks team.
Yeah.
Well, which is pushing that number up.
So even if you dig under those quartiles, we do have some services that are still more male dominated. So we're suggesting, the park service, the services that depot still do have. We haven't quite got that balance in terms of gender representation. We are doing some specific work, especially around depot roles, to try and promote them more generally to female members of staff. And I think we have got another female member of staff starting a loader in the coming weeks and months. So we are absolutely doing work to try and ensure that when we're going out to recruit for those roles, we are trying to reach as representative candidates as possible, and think about how we might be able to advertise or reach female members of staff and other groups as well.
I'll just come back to that, okay? Yeah, you've just mentioned there, Kerry, thank you very much for that, in reference to goals. So what specific actions have we got in place or policies that we're going to prioritise over the next 12 months to get us to that I assume the goal is 0. So have we got things in place to be able to try and aim to hit towards that 0 goal?
I don't think we've got a specific focus on that 0 goal currently. I think that's so what we're focusing our time and energy on is looking at those services where we want to get slightly more representative and thinking about what's the best approach to try and attract more female workers. I think we are in a good position with our gender pay metric for the 31st of March 2025. I think there's a number of councils that would be quite envious of the position we're in. So I'm not sure whether we need to be reviewing kind of corporate-wide policies to move us forward. I think it's more targeted work in terms of particular services where we think there's opportunity to be more represented.
Councillor Mears?
With regard to staff leaving, do you know roughly what the split is for men and women leaving and whether they're leaving higher paid jobs or the lower paid jobs? Is that information that you have for tonight, or?
I'm not sure it is information we've got to hand for tonight, but it's something we could definitely look into and kind of
Yeah,
outside of that to the committee.
And we do have in the table, if you on the report on page 5, there is some information there about the splits of males and females compared to last year as well. So we've got that data that we can compare from last year, but
Yeah.
It's certainly something that we can bring to the next meeting. We're hoping to be able to get more data from the time that we get.
I think the figures are outstanding.
Yeah.
And I think there's only, we're really looking into the smallest corners now for anywhere for improvement because they are so good. So that was why I was thinking that would be the last section where you can see where the points of weakness might be. But I think the figures overall are outstanding.
I think it is just the makeup. Doing this work and by doing all of these comparisons, I think the conclusion is that gender pay percentage is just to do with the makeup of both and where the salaries and their skills fit.
Councillor Hill?
I appreciate the fact of being progressive, and I understand that you're opening the door, say, all are welcome. What if people just don't want to go through it? There's nothing that you can do. If they don't want the job or doesn't suit them, you can't force people to go down. I mean, how do you make allowances for that make people realise, well, you've done the best that you can, but did you see where I'm going with that?
Absolutely, and I think it's more about making sure our advertising and recruitment approaches are as inclusive as possible.
Yeah.
And I think the other thing we're looking at is, we do have, we've said some female staff in services that you'd expect more males to work in. So actually, can we do some case studies on our female members of staff in those roles and shine a light on it to again try and attract more women to apply? But you're absolutely right, John. There's
You can open the door, and the only other thing you can do is provide opportunity for people who are already there.
yes.
Above and beyond that, I don't see how those figures can be forced or tweaked. That's just my thoughts. Sorry.
Then
Yeah, now I believe the problems that Birmingham had was not with the gender pay gap as such, but with the failure to have comparability between roles, some of which were male dominated and others which were female dominated. Now, have you done work to ensure that we are robust in that respect?
I think Birmingham was the equal opportunity rather than gender pay.
Yeah,
So that was paying male and female different for exactly the same job.
yeah, comparable jobs anyway. Yes, I know, that's what I said.
During here is gender pay,
Yeah.
make sure we're being fair in the way we.
Yeah, but have you actually looked at the comparability issues as well?
Yes. So we have a comprehensive job evaluation
Yeah.
approach. So every new job or every current job has been through a a job evaluation scoring system.
Yeah.
So there is no, well, that job description is used for a man and that job description is used for a female member of staff. It's
Yeah.
one job description that has been through a tried and tested national job evaluation model.
Good.
So we
Yes.
do not believe we are in a Birmingham City.
Good.
Please don't take this wrongly or flippantly or whatever else, but if a person is transgender, where do they fit? What side do they go?
There's no advice within the guidance, actually. No, they're going to try and take this one step further. So they are going to start including things like disability and other categories that we're measuring against in the future. But at the moment, all those aren't in the guidance.
Okay.
I would assume the right way to deal with that is whichever way they define themselves as,
Well,
that's
that-
how it
exactly.
be recorded, because
Yeah.
that would be the right way to record it.
Yeah,
I hope
but I
that's
just
how we're
want-
doing it.
Yeah, I agree. That's what I was
Yeah.
getting at, you know, was it
Yeah.
how they define themselves or is it biological? How do you do it? I don't know.
So we are not currently recording that as a subset, so it goes to Verenis's.
Which is the right way to do it.
I agree.
All we are doing is taking the data from our payroll system, whichever person has been identified as male or female, using that data. So
Okay, that's fine.
we haven't looked at people's names or any of the other factors.
Like I said, I didn't want that to be taken wrongly. I was just.
It's a good question and something we need to.
Yeah.
Can I just say, Chair, it is excellent. What we do at Lichfield District Council, and they show this. I run a company myself that is very female heavy, and not for any other choice, but employing the right person for the job, irrelevant of it. And I think as long as our core vision is that, I think that's really good. So I think this is excellent. It's a great report.
The note in anywhere, so everybody's happy.
It's to give approval that we can now publish this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You agree? There's a recommendation, so yeah.
Oh,